If you want to have a lifetime of troubled relationships, stop watching right now. But if you'd rather understand the differences between false and illusionary love and real, true love, keep watching, because today we're going to talk about the intricacies of love and how it works within our human existence. Go. Welcome to the I Am Podcast, where we answer all the questions about spirituality and inner peace that you ever wanted to ask, and where we learn the secrets of humanity and divinity through a better understanding of both. I am your host, Sean Webb. When I say the word love, what do you think of? Kissing, turning the lights out, leaving the lights on? Do you think of roses, picnics, holding hands through walks in the park? Do you think of hugs? Do you think of children if you have them? Do you think of your pets? Or how about this one? Do you think of love for strangers? Do you think of love for your enemies? There's a reason that we think of love in certain ways, and there's a reason that we feel love in unique ways, and there's a reason that unconditional love is so rare in the world and usually only exists for children sometimes. It's because there are actually three kinds of love that exist under the umbrella of human existence, and predictably enough, they are connected with the three components of human existence: the body, the mind, and spirit. The body has love. It's called physical attraction, lust, sexuality, randomness, and it's a pretty powerful driver for many of us in the world. If you'll remember back in episodes, I think it was 15 and 16, we talked about the body's consciousness and how it communicates with our consciousness to give us clues about its needs. Well, one of its big needs is to replicate cellular life in the form of babies. And studies have shown that our bodies have a lot of influence on how attracted we are to our potential mates. In all our bodies, we have MHC genes, which basically outline our immune system capabilities. And in the 1970s, it was shown that fish and mice choose mates with MHC profiles that are dissimilar to each other, so that those MHC profiles combine and create an offspring that are stronger and more immune to diseases. Survival of the fittest, right? Well, in 1995, a study by Dr. Klaus Wittekind showed that we humans also seem to prefer mates with different MHC profiles than our own, and follow-up research even suggested that people who are in a relationship with someone with a different MHC profile, with different immune systems, cheat less in their relationships. Scientific fact. And in short, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about body love. Now, although body love is a very real portion of our existence from a strict real love, false love standpoint, body love is a false love. It's not really love at all. It has everything to do with the body's replication of cellular life, and while I'm not saying that sex is bad, no, sex good. In the spiritual sense, body love is not true love. Mind love, aka romantic love, affection, fondness, endearment, adoration, infatuation, etc. Mind love is a little more complicated than body love, however, it does fit our model of the mind and how it works, and, believe it or not, is generated by the same equation of emotion, episode 4, that generates anger, hate, sadness, fear, etc. So, how does mind love work? Well, mind love is a conditional love, and basically those conditions are set by, you know it, the ego. When you meet someone and fall in love, it's because that person has triggered a number of things in your mind that agree with you. Of course, it can start with a body love experience, that flash of adrenaline when your eyes first meet, or that biochemical reaction of when you first touch or first kiss. Make no mistake, those cells within your body are weighing in at that moment, and it is affecting your mind love reaction. But beyond that, mind love starts to happen when the person in question starts to agree with your ego, your mind's understanding of self. Example, ladies, Prince Charming comes along. He's handsome, successful, has a good sense of humor, and is all about being with you. The reason you like him is, 1, underneath the covers of your mind, you want to see yourself as a woman who can attract a handsome, successful, funny, affectionate man. So that agrees with you. 2, you want to be treated well. and he does that for you. So the equation of emotion spits out good stuff there. 3, you start to like that his mindful ideas and positions on things are acceptable or agreeable with yours, and or you start to let his positions influence yours, and or your positions and thoughts start to influence his, which meets with your ego's approval. And all these things feed into the equation of emotion, which then meets or exceeds your expectations and or preferences, which cause happy feelings for you over and over. Great guy feeds ego, increased ego feeds ego, all dependent on Prince Charming's presence and actions, of course, and all of it mixes together with the body's biochemical reactions, and you fall in love. And I'm sorry that I'm taking all the romance out of love right about now, but we're not about painting over the truth here. We're about finding the deeper truth, which is actually better than what we're losing. Because the fact is that this love, this emotional love, is a conditional love. It's not a true love, and here's the litmus test. If Prince Charming suddenly starts showering affection on other women while you're dating, or sleeps with someone else, or maybe he moves in with you and quits his job, or maybe he gains 100 pounds and plays Xbox every waking moment he's not doing something else, suddenly you're not so taken with the guy, are you? And that's because he is no longer ingratiating to your ego anymore. He is no longer fitting in your mind. He is no longer making you feel good about yourself by being with him. And this is why a lot of relationships that start out as passionate romances fizzle after a few years, because this romantic love, this emotional love, as much as it's great when it happens, as much as we love to see it in the movies, and as much as we love to read about it in books, this romantic love is a false love. Yes, it can and often does grow into something more substantial, which long-term relationships can be built on, but if all you have is romantic love, if all you have is emotional love, you're in trouble. Because generally speaking, romantic love is not a love based on true unconditional love for the other person, but more a love based on your love of yourself, a love of your ideas, a love of how you feel when you're with that person, a love of how you're being treated by that person, and a love of how you see yourself with that person. Because when that stuff changes is when the relationship sours, and here comes the divorce papers. Guys, same for you. She appreciates football, she drinks beer, she gives her friends a hard time, and she's got nice hooters, and she loves giving yeah, right, okay. And you're like, well, I'm in. I'm kidding, of course, right? But you get the point. You find someone who you like to be with, and why do you like to be with her? Well, she's attractive to you, she's affectionate to you, maybe she cooks your favorite meal, she makes you feel special to be with her, and basically, you like your life better now than it was before you were with her. All things that are ingratiating to your own mindful understanding of your existence, aka your ego. It's not all a love for her, it's mostly a love for yourself and what you have become now that you're with her. And yes, there can be some true admiration for who she is as a human being mixed in with that. There can be an honest, I want her to be happy even if we split up type feeling. But more often than not, breakups / divorces, when emotional love dies, don't turn into a I love her and wish her the best situation, no. And it's soured basically because this mind love, this emotional love, is a false love. It's based on a love of yourself. And when the person in your relationship is no longer doing it for you, doing it for who? When that person is no longer in the good graces of your mind, you fall out of love with them and then take months or years to end the relationship. Now, we are going to get to how you can change this characteristic and change the dynamics of this system so that you are no longer affected by false love and where it can be replaced by a true divine love, the love that was meant to be a part of your life. But for this episode, this is the Body, Mind, Spirit 101, where we're just talking about the basics, so we'll start the good stuff and hit on how you can use this information to have a better relationship soon. Okay, so we've covered the two false loves that exist within us, right? So now let's discuss the one true love that exists within us, and that love being the love of spirit. aka agape, God's love, unconditional love, the love for all existence and everything in it. Scholars and theologians have argued that agape, a true unconditional love, altruism, cannot be existent within man. And that assertion is false. And anyone with kids can tell you that it's false. True unconditional love exists, and it's generated by the spirit within. Spirit love is unconditional because it emanates from beyond the mind. The mind is the thing that judges things to be worthy of love. The spirit just loves, period. There is no judgment there. There is no qualification for that love, that you must love me first, or that you meet certain minimum qualifications that please me so as to be loved. The spirit is love and does love. And it's in those rare occasions that present themselves, like having kids, where you discover that spiritual, unconditional love does actually exist. Enlightenment triggers unconditional love because enlightenment introduces you to spirit. I used to be a guy who called himself a Christian, who loved those around me, who helped those in need who I deemed were worthy of my help, but who also saw groups of people that I considered my enemy. People of different religions, people in certain foreign countries. Even though I was supposedly a religious man, I saw people in the world who I judged as not quite worthy of love. And so the love I had within me was a false love, a conditional love, an emotional-based love, a judgmental love. Post-enlightenment, where I was introduced to God face-to-face, so to speak, I learned about the unconditional love for my enemies, which Jesus spoke about. I learned about the unconditional love for the bum laying in his own urine in the gutter because of his drug habit. I learned about the unconditional love for people of other religions in other countries, regardless of whether they wanted to kill me or not. I learned about the unconditional love for the guy who may want to sleep with my wife for all I know, and the unconditional love for my wife if she winds up sleeping with said guy. Doesn't mean I would select to stay with her, but it wouldn't change my love for her. And if you don't understand that kind of love, then you're a victim of the false loves of the mind. And you're a victim of the illusionary loves that are not holy. And they're not divine. And they are leading you astray and away from your true nature. And we need to introduce you to the unconditional love and unconditional compassion of spirit. Your homework for this week is simple. Go do a kindness for someone that you don't feel is worthy of that kindness. Pick someone that you don't like and go out of your way to do something nice for them. Share them some love that cannot be generated by your brain or your mind or by your body, and see if it doesn't activate something within you that is based in spirit. I think it might, if you have the courage to do it. Next, go download the audiobook The Science of Enlightenment by Shinzen Young. Shinzen is an American meditation teacher, and in this book he speaks about the practices of meditation in the path to enlightenment, and he explains how control of the mind becomes easier with the exercises of that discipline. If you'll remember, I talked about that last week in my own meditation. Shinzen is one of the authors that gets it from 50,000 foot view, and I think this is a great book on enlightenment and living a higher existence, and it comes from a pragmatic, plain terms perspective. You can get it for free at audibletrial.com/IamSpirituality. Audible's awesome. They have over 85,000 titles to choose from. You can listen to them at the gym, in the car, while cleaning the house, whenever. audibletrial.com/IamSpirituality. Go get your free book now. You can find us on Twitter, twitter.com/IamSpirituality. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/IamSpirituality. And if you hurry, we're having a giveaway, if you like the page, fairly soon. Happens every now and then, but it's coming up real quick. So go there, like the I Am Spirituality page, and you may win something cool. Next week, we're going to address the difference between happiness and joy, and why everyone in the world seems to be chasing happiness and maybe shouldn't be. We almost have all the basics covered, people. Start sending me questions, please, that you would like to have answered anonymously if you'd like. I will knock your socks off with some of the answers based on what we've just covered in the last 20 or so episodes. See you next week. Peace.